Do it.
Munson and the Geeza. Munson and the Geeza. Reporting from the scene. Munson and the Geeza. News in every ride.
Boom. It's like being back in a rave, isn't it?
It is like being back in a rave. Yeah. Did you see that picture I posted the other day of the after the rave at the petrol station trying to order cigarettes and water and chewing gum?
Yeah. Happy memories.
Well, yeah, you know.
How are you, Tony?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. Look, Donna, Gainesville Gator Girl is here. Yay. Good to see you, Donna.
She's in the house of the Lord.
Yes. Yeah, as you casually refer to yourself. Yeah,
Yes.
and are you have your muscles fully been restored and been, I don't know, have you had liniment and other things applied to your aching muscles from last week?
I went out for a run this morning and it wasn't too bad. In the little gap, we had a 2-hour gap. I got up at what sort of time? It's about 5 a.m. and it was raining, and then but by about 6 it calmed down. I looked at my phone, I could see it was forecast for a 2-hour gap. We actually got about a 4-hour gap. So I went out for a run, and or as someone I did a live stream while I was running, and someone came on and said, "Well, don't call it." This is the voice, even though they texted it. I know how that was.
Yeah, we know how they sound, don't we? When we
read... don't call it a run. You're barely walking fast.
Yeah,
yeah.
Piss off.
Yeah. Probably from their couch. You know what I mean? Well,
yeah, exactly. It might have been crypto strategists, though. Be nice. Good evening, gents. Oi, what did I miss? Hey, everyone. Carlos Skywatcher.
Oh, you missed the best bits.
Well, I saw a comet the other day, or a very big shooting star. It was beautiful.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Well, I didn't see the shooting star. I saw the comet. So a little bit less.
Me and Mrs. M, you have a vicarious credit with that. But we were walking down the street, and I saw it, and I just, you know how quickly it can happen. I just turned.
Yeah.
Did you see that? She said, yeah, I did. It was amazing. Oh, and happy St. Patrick's Day, fellas. Quinn and Cook here. And Quinn and Cook sounds like Munson and the Geezer. They could be a pair of lady detectives, I think.
That's what you got to do. Quinn and Cook investigate.
Right, here we go. So, Anton, let me guess a few stereotypes. How good is Pete doing here? 1, hippie. 2, online worker. 3, vegan that survives on stones and grass and doesn't wash. 4, Kashgaish and Algarve snob. And 5, the follically challenged. Well, that's not a very strong, like, expat. What, a bald person? I don't think bald people are flocking to Portugal necessarily, are they?
Well, not because it's not because of their baldness. It's because of their age or their financial status. I don't know, correlation is not causation or something. I don't know.
Okay, but they could be like a follically challenged visa. What you don't have in hair, you can make up for in tax relief. Happy St. Patrick's Day as well. Tony was moaning about the weather this morning. What? The weather is better this year than last. I don't believe that.
Hey, but Kruta, as I said in the video, I am a champion at moaning. I'm that kind of guy. I said I'm even there with the completely unsolicited moans. I'm the one, you'll be sitting in a cafe talking about football or whatever, and I'll be that one who just suddenly chimes in. You know what I hate?
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. I'm that guy.
You can hear him droning on in the corner of the cafe.
Yeah.
Why don't you re-record? You know, we were going to do turning Portuguese, which I still think we should do, and we want people to send in photographs of themselves turning Portuguese, and we'll edit them into the video. Why don't you re-record Spandau Ballet's Gold, but say moan instead? Moan, always moaning.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You look a lot like Tony Hadley as well, which is good.
I do. Yeah. I often get mistaken for him.
Never seen in the same room.
Who I actually do get mistaken for, and I always I'd see. The thing is, you never know that you never see him coming, so I could have had the pictures lined up. But I remember someone once said to me, "Oh, you look a lot like Russell Crowe."
Yes,
thought,
it's true.
yeah.
You sound like him as well.
I thought, oh yeah, and of course, I was thinking, oh, like in Romper Stomper or something, and then they showed me a picture of him, and it's like really no, after Gladiator, like really
You're in
fat,
Provence. A year in
bushy.
Portugal.
Yeah.
A year in
So,
Portugal.
apparently, when I was younger, I looked like the young him as well, but that wasn't what they meant when they said it to me. So,
if the rest of us close our eyes and you say something like, "I am Maximus,"
G'day,
are you
mate.
not entertained? Why don't you shout that out for us?
No, okay. What about this?
What you do now?
If suddenly you find yourself riding your horse along the green grass with the sun on your back, then you are dead. Well, I can't remember how he said. I can't remember the quote now. It was good.
No,
what was it?
I didn't think Russell Crowe was in the room. Then you got to put a bit more into it, I think, than that.
Well, what do they call it?
His soliloquy in Gladiator.
Green grass.
I think you're searching something live on the show. Everybody else, while he's doing that, could you just say how you are? Let us know how you're doing. If you were, how's your?
Oh yeah, that was it. Oh, sorry, I found it too quickly.
All right, hold on.
If
whoa, take it. Just like get into the role.
Right.
Right. Okay, can I just give you full screen as well? Just take it easy.
Men, if you find yourself alone, riding in the green fields with the sun on your face, do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium, and you're already dead.
Wow. That's good. That's the short of the show so far.
I don't think he was doing it in an Australian accent either. That's the problem. Yeah.
Did you see him storm out of that interview when he did? He was being quizzed about Robin of Sherwood.
No.
Oh,
he is a bit cringe. I have to admit, he doesn't.
I
always try and be careful when I say these things, because I always try and respect that people who get into high positions probably are quite intelligent. But I've seen him in a few interviews. He was in an interview with I forget her name now, some famous woman she's an actress, but she does her health thing, and he started they were on a talk show, and he started asking her really personal questions, like about how she trims herself and things like that. And it was really like, what? Dude. Yeah, it was really like, dude, you know what I mean? Yeah. He said to her, so what about you? Do you keep your bush trimmed or something like that?
Really?
And it was really awkward, you know what I mean? It wasn't, you could tell they weren't that kind of friend, and it was it was awkward, you know, and you felt like, oh, dude.
Sounds like one of our shows, doesn't it?
Yeah. But you know what I mean? You know your audience, don't you?
Yes, it does. It pays to. Apparently, you resemble Kevin Chamberlain. I don't think so.
I got no idea who that is.
Really?
Yeah. That way he's a handsome fellow, isn't he?
He is, isn't he? He's a chunk. He's a hunky chunk of a man.
The head's the wrong shape, though, isn't it?
Course,
not that there's a right shape, but I mean, like to be my head.
And is that one of the stereotypes? Wrong shaped bald head. So, are we going to work our way through these? I think the two guys in the middle are very similar. I get the one on the left and I get the one on the right. Don't understand the horseback unless that's Barack, Lord Travancore, right there. So can we? These are the 5 stereotypes. Are they? I've not seen your video yet.
Well, first of all, there's not just 5 stereotypes. They were just 5 that I saw pretty quickly. There's a lot, and there's also subcategories, and you know, as someone pointed out,
niches within niches.
I didn't talk about Brazilian people or anything like that. It was just who I saw very quickly, because I kind of quickly moved between 3 different places in Portugal. Okay. So when I was in the Algarve, I very quickly saw the British Stella drinkers, you know what I mean? I saw that very, very quickly.
Bottom left.
The bar, beer drinking, like big beer gut, red face kind of.
Yep.
England, you know, and
yep. Bacon.
And you know, they'd found the place where you could get all the comfort stuff, the Sunday roast. There's a big Primark there, and you know what I mean? And by the way, I've got nothing against any of these groups.
Oh, quite
by the way, it's observational, and it's just meant to be a little bit of a joke, and everybody knows who I mean. And so some people have said to me, so far everyone's been pretty good natured or humored about it and someone said to me, "Oh, I'm an American and I'm not like that, but I know who you mean because we see them." And I said to him, "That's because you see stereotypes." Do you know what I mean?
Right,
Like
yeah.
it's like when people say, "Oh, bloody loud Americans," that's just because you hear the loud Americans, right?
Yeah,
Doesn't mean
right,
they're
yeah.
all loud.
Yes.
It's just the ones that are loud are really loud, right?
Yes. Cliches are cliches for a reason. Are they not?
Cliches are cliches for a reason. So that was one of the reasons we left the Algarve. Actually, I thought I don't want to do. I'm not here for this. And then another
Mum.
observation I made because I joined a lot of the Facebook groups was that I feel like, and again, this is just because you see them. There's obviously not all Americans, or probably not even more than 5% of Americans. But what I seem to see is whenever you go on the Facebook group, whenever there's an American there, for some reason they're a realtor or a life coach or a they're not just there going, "Oh, where can I buy where can I buy a potato masher or something?" You know what I mean? They're there like, "Oh, look, I've dropped you a DM because what we do is we help people settle and we help people with visas or we help people buy houses or we help people exchange money." And nothing against those people, but it just seems to be like, I've been here for 5 minutes now, so that must mean that I'm an expert on something and I'm going to sell it. I'm going to monetize that right away, So
I
it's
waited
just an observation.
I waited 15 minutes. I think
Yeah.
decency to wait a little bit longer than that.
So don't get me wrong, it's an observation, and the reality is some people really love those services, and that's how economies work. But I also noticed a few other things, and I've been banned from a few Facebook groups for pointing this out. Was
can you name them? Which ones have you been banned from recently?
Well, I've been banned from Americans in Portugal, obviously.
Right.
Gen Xers in Portugal,
right? Yeah.
A few like that. And
they don't get your sense of humor. There's quite a lot of American slanted groups by the sound of it.
Yeah. And I'm also trying to, in my own way, to make them, like I said before, I'm kind of naming names without naming names, but he's the Gen X in Portugal leader. And he's very, very vocal about being a left winger, loved Biden, loved Harris, hates Trump, which is fine. But I made an observation because I watched him over a couple of weeks and he keeps posting things. One of which he posted is, "This is what a real man wants." And it was a picture of him with like a nuclear family barbecuing. Yeah. And then he showed another picture of his dog, and his dog was a pit bull. And then he had another picture of his car back in the US going, "I wish I could have brought this here." And it was like a 7-liter truck. And then him and his missus booked a couple of flights and went to see scorpions in Hungary, and I said to him, I was half joking, but I also trying to make him realize my point was, I said to him, not being funny, to me, you're like, in Australia, we would call you a cashed up bogan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, look at what you're posting here. Conservative memes, weightlifting, pit bull, jumping on a plane to go see a heavy metal band. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what are you talking about? What about you is different to? So that's the thing. Is what I was trying to get at. Is I don't see any particular difference between him and a MAGA guy. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, you're just the same guy. So I don't think they're as different as they think they are. That was kind of my meaning, but it was completely lost.
And you tried to bring that to his attention in your own special way.
Yeah, completely lost on him.
Lost
on him, and yeah. But I mean, that was the thing generally that I've made an observation of. So I've again not making a judgment about any of these things, but
you're saying that a lot tonight, isn't it? Interesting. We're in the age, aren't we? When you have to say nothing against this, but
I saw an American woman on Facebook, and she said, "I'd be really shocked. This is the 4th school I've run today, who won't let my transgender 5-year-old choose which bathroom she wants to use."
Right.
And I said to her, this is what blows me away, is because also I'd seen her previously saying she'd left America because it's become a conservative hellscape. And I said, this is what blows me away about Americans, is they come to Portugal to escape conservatism. It's like, have you not done any research? Do you know what I mean? Like in America, you can be who you want, do what you want, and it's the land of the free.
Yes.
And there are laws to protect marginalized groups. I mean, the pendulum seems to be swinging a little bit at the moment, but only a little bit compared to, I mean, try going living in Poland, try going living in Russia or Hungary.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
I do.
Don't think that you leaving the US is going to solve your problems with the right wing. Because if anything, Europe is sliding more right wing. So it was an observation, and that got me banned. Obviously, that got me banned. Yeah.
Well, Lee would like to go head to head. We should have a competition to see who's being banned.
You don't want to. You don't want to do it, Lee. You don't.
You're both actually. You're both Roundup fans. It has to be said. True story.
Yeah, I'm doing one at the moment. I'm on the Portugal DIY group. I might get banned today.
Because live banning.
What happened? Listen, this is another example of what happens, right? This is another example of what happens. A couple of people in my videos have seen there's asbestos on my roof, right? I've actually removed the panels now. I'm in the process.
Well, you shouldn't have done that, should you? You should have left them where they were.
But what's funny is in the DIY group, I asked where you could buy, because you need these special metal hooks to hook the new panels onto the Vegas. And I just asked someone what they were.
Onto the vegans?
Vegas.
Oh, I
you don't know what Vegas is?
I thought that was the first mention today. No, I don't know what Vegas are. What are Vegas? What the struts, the rafters?
Like in English, we call them like joists. But they're concrete. They're concrete usually here.
Oh, those concrete things with reinforced.
They look like a T shape, and they've got
awful things, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean they're already there, so I'm not going to move them. I'm going to reuse them when I put when I put the chappers on. And I asked people about the hook, and of course, what happens is one person said, "Oh, just to say that looks like asbestos, so be careful with that." And I'm like, okay, but then one after the other. Oh, I'm sure that's right. So now it's virtue signaling. You've seen that the first guy said it.
Yeah.
So my last comment is really, well, I chopped it up with a chainsaw to use as insulation for the creche, and apart from a lot of dust, I haven't had any problems. You know, I'm still coughing, but
This is why you get banned from groups. I think
but it's virtue. You know what I mean? Only one person had to pull it, and then everyone else is just like,
why are people on social media if it's not for virtue signaling? For goodness sake,
I'd better mention it as well. You know, I'd better mention it.
Okay, but aren't you sort of anti-virtue signaling? Aren't you de-virtue?
I am de-virtue signaling.
You're unsignaling, aren't you? You're unsignaling.
Hey, Solar Life, there's a guy in my village wants them.
He's got. He'll pay you good money. He'll pay you good money.
He said, I don't
love them. People get a bit upset about asbestos panels, but I love them. I'll take them off your hands. Yeah.
Well, they're sealed. This is what I mean. It's a little bit like the Roundup thing. Or I get it, but if you use it properly and squirt it right on the weed and don't just spray it everywhere, it doesn't harm anything.
Don't shower in it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, did you see that tanker ship that spilled, 7 million liters of oil into the Gulf the other day? Whoa, I'm never using oil again. That's awful. It kills penguins. And meanwhile, you're just trying to put a bit of oil into your motorcycle. And someone's going, oh, don't you know that kills penguins?
You spell you've had a great week.
I'm not killing penguins with it. I'm just trying to make sure my motorcycle doesn't overheat.
They're lucky there aren't any penguins in central Portugal, is all I can say. See, you both are right. Get a room, you two. Get a Roundup room.
Yeah, I love Roundup as well. I like it mixes really well with it. What you do with Roundup, if you've got asbestos, coat it with Roundup.
You love Roundup.
That seals in the goodness.
On asbestos panels.
Yeah. Seals in the goodness. Yep.
I didn't realize you had Roundup impregnated asbestos panels.
Yep.
Right.
Only the best. Only the best.
Only the best at your gaff. Right. So
in the creche.
Yes, of course. Nothing's too good for your kids. What are you going to do with the asbestos post removal? Oh,
there's a field. There's
removal.
Crypto. There's a field behind your house, and
that's right. Fair enough. Yeah, do you have a plan? Sure to be expensive. I suppose the forest is always available. Bury it in the garden over the wall.
Actually, about halfway up to I was having a poo. I was about
Oh,
3/4 of the way
excellent.
between my
A
village and the
new
next.
low.
And,
A new low. Okay, this is when all
and
your
I-
best ideas come to you. Yeah.
I stepped back off the road to have a poo, and sure enough, in down the little lane in the countryside there's a big stack of asbestos. Yeah,
Well, you're able to wipe your bottom. Isn't that
yeah,
convenient?
on the asbestos.
And a little. Do you have Roundup in your bidet?
A bit of Roundup in there. Bit of Roundup. Never hurt
A
anybody.
quick spray of Roundup and a quick wipe with some asbestos. The property price is going to be going up with all these fantastic amenities in your neighborhood, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I didn't ask what the local guy wants to do with it, but you do see people like on the land. They do you know if they're
Your
my
waste
asbestos panels,
okay.
you're still fixated on the poo, right?
Yes. Who isn't
yeah,
here? I mean,
that
I'm
was just-
surprised anyone's still watching, quite frankly. We've got a pretty good showing tonight, and it's going up as we speak. I don't know what's going on. The algorithms are being kind.
some kind of key word. We're going to look at asbestos.
Keep
Roundup
saying
or poo.
Roundup and asbestos
Roundup,
and see which does
Roundup.
it. Donna, see you
what is this?
tomorrow. No wonder he's a single guy in Portugal. Have you been thrown out of that group yet?
Single. No, I don't know why they keep me there. Well, oddly enough, the one of the groups, she said to me something like, well, I wouldn't be interested in you because you're a Leo. She said,
Really?
but I do agree with everything that you say. And I thought, okay, yeah, well.
Yeah, but to be fair,
I don't even know what that means.
Opinions are transient. You'll never stop being a Leo, or she won't, whichever.
Hey, I wanted to ask you to pin. Do you want to keep going on this? Because we've only
On
got
what?
where
What
we
are
got
we-
to.
What are we going on?
These
apart from
five
the verge
stereotypes.
in your village.
So I just want to get the horse guy out of the way because there was no offense for him, right?
Okay.
What that was is when I moved to central Portugal, and I started doing my Portuguese lessons, and I started meeting a lot of, let's say, non-Portuguese people here. Most of the people I met were in like my lessons were at least half Dutch, and I just noticed that a lot of Dutch people seem to move here by land and have horses.
Yes, yeah.
And I don't know if that was just I mean, obviously in central Portugal that's going to happen more, right? But it seems to me there seems to be a lot more Dutch people in central Portugal. You know what I mean? Like the Brits tend, obviously everyone's spread out everywhere, but the Brits tend to go to the Algarve. The Americans tend to go to Cascais and Estoril. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And the Dutch tend to come here. The hippies tend to come to central Portugal. And again, I've divided hippies into two categories, which was number one is poor, what I call poor hippies.
Yep.
So they're the ones that are really
on the left.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, on the
really
left,
slumming it. And some of them really are like hardly alive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
they're eating your asbestos.
They're eating my asbestos, yeah. I do provide a bit of Roundup for a bit of extra flavor.
What's that Central Portugal cornflakes? Asbestos with Roundup on. All right, okay.
but
that's the guy on the left.
These are the people also you see on Facebook. They'll be going, "Oh, land's really cheap in Portugal. Do you think I could buy some land and put like a teepee on it? Will that be okay?" Yeah. And I always ask them, I say, would that be okay in your country? What country are you from? Or England? Would that be okay in England? Would that be okay in England? No. Well, why would it be okay here?
Ooh, good point.
No, but you see this. I see a lot of people asking questions like that, and it makes me think in their head they kind of think Portugal's like a third world kind of Mickey Mouse country.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. No. They might be thinking it's freer and easier, and the planning restrictions are a little bit up themselves in other parts of the world where they come from.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's true. That is true.
But the problem is, a lot of them. And listen, as I say to you, I'm not passing. I know it sounds like a passing judgment, but I'm not really.
Constantly for the last 24 minutes.
A lot of them just come here and do it anyway, and then wonder why the locals get angry. And we had a situation in a village near us. They used to have a market, and we actually went to that market and tried to set up a stall. That was one example we had, and it was really, you felt very, very like othered because they kind of have a uniform, the hippies,
Yeah, but to be fair, if you're selling asbestos offcuts at a craft fair for vegans, it's probably not going to work terribly well, Tony.
Well, we didn't find it very welcoming. And then I noticed there was lots of like what I would call feral kids.
Yeah.
Running about.
Particular kind of haircut. Definitely.
So I thought I'd go there at Christmas dressed as Santa and give out sweets and try and I felt really like, yeah, but the problem is, right? But listen, they've taken over the village park and square to do this, and then they're excluding everyone. Yeah.
Yes.
So what I would say to them is that's why you got chucked out, because eventually the villagers had had enough. Because on a Sunday they couldn't go and use their park. They left rubbish. They made any Portuguese person who tried to have a stall there feel completely unwelcome.
Really?
You know, Portuguese people don't let their kids run around feral, you know, and all that sort of thing. So you got to, you know what I mean? But you got to have you got to find a happy medium, and they didn't, so they lost.
Which brings us very nicely to the guy second from the right. He's a happy medium, is he not? A high end hippie.
I see what you did there. He's the high end hippie.
Yeah.
Characterized by, he appears on Facebook just before he's come, and it's always the same. It's like, hi, my name's Star Child. Me and my girlfriend, or me and my boyfriend. We're gonna land there in May, and we thought we're gonna set up a yoga studio.
They are reaching out.
Aqua therapy. What's the other one? The other one they come up with, sound bath. Yeah, listening to music, right? We used to
no, Tony. Come on. It's not just listening to music. Have you had a gong bath?
No. Do you know what I saw there? I'm not. I know I shouldn't talk about it if I'm not interested, but I'm not interested. But I saw the other day there was one.
Not being interested ever stop you talking about something?
There was one on Facebook. There's one on Facebook. I'm interested in the psychology of it, not the
activity itself. Yeah.
But someone was saying, they're running a new group called Cuddle Therapy.
Yes. I've been in touch with. We're going to have her on our lunchtime show.
Jesus, ask her what I said. I said I can't think of anything more awful.
Why so hostile? How about a roundup bath instead of a gong bath?
It just sounds awful to me. Can you imagine going and meeting a whole bunch of people you don't even know, and all just sitting there cuddling?
Yeah. It's not. It wouldn't be my cup of tea. But
whose cup of tea would it be?
People who like people who need a cuddle.
But she's like, it's non-threatening and non-sexual. I'll just good luck.
Really? Yeah, but you know this. Who is it? Which American president, or was it Shakespeare, or was it Oscar Wilde? You know, when people speak, they're telling you about themselves, aren't they? They're not speaking about what they're speaking about. They're telling you about themselves.
No. I know what you're saying, but no.
You know what I'm saying, but no.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but no. I think that may apply to some people. Yeah, I think that may apply.
But are you not talking about your own discomfort with cuddling strangers?
I'm
not being able to get your end away.
I tell you what, I'm really glad that COVID destroyed the kiss thing in Portugal. I've always hated that.
Oh,
I've always hated all that.
It's back.
Yeah. Well, not really, not like it used to be.
Really?
Lots more shaky hands. I've always hated that. I told you before, when I used to work for the European Broadcasting Union, it was just all of us Brits used to talk about it. Oh God, when we come into the front of the Spanish, like, we don't know what it's meant to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't like it. I'm British. Okay. We don't like it.
Well, you can. I mean, I never used to hug until a certain point in my life, and I taught my family to hug. My mother and father both.
I hug my dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good way of not getting other people to hug you. My wife doesn't like hugging me.
I don't want it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Many singles really need a hug. Essential for health. You see, Tony. It sounds like the geezer needs a cuddle. Yes, me think the gentleman doth protest too much. I think. Yeah.
I don't like it.
No.
Don't like it. Never like things never like massages or anything like that. Don't like it.
People getting too close.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I think we're getting into a little bit of a zone here. We're getting in a little bit of an area of possible movement or transformation, Tony.
Don't go there.
Don't go there, right? I'm
Munson,
sorry.
don't go there,
I said
Munson.
I'd never do that. I said I'd never do that. Okay. Yes, Tony, is this connected? Actually, going back to the Leo woman in the group.
The dating in Portugal is going really well. Thank you for asking. I've had no dates and I'm still single, which is perfect.
Is that how you'd like it? Okay, yeah. Yes, Tony. Yeah, all right, fair enough. Well, that's that dealt with then.
Perfect.
Okay, Vivian. Hi, Viv. I actually considered being a hug therapist when I was divorced and broke. Went for the dogs instead.
Dogs are the answer, Vivian.
Whatever the question, dogs are the answer.
To most questions, dogs are the answer. Yeah.
There are two kinds of people, though, aren't there? There are people who think dogs are the answer and people who think cats are the answer.
Yeah. There's wrong and right in most things. Yeah.
Absolutely, yin and yang, you might say. But let's not go there again.
But can I just say one final thing about
Squeezer? Look, even your name rhymes with it. It's a clue. It's a sign
about the poor hippies. The other thing that's resulting is it's bringing back a kind of a serfdom. And I've said this because I have some farmer friends who've had these kind of poor hippies on their land, you know, and they're like, oh, you don't have to pay them anything. You just let them pitch up a tent on your land. And I'm like, I swear to God, we just got rid of all that in our history. Do you know what I mean? I don't approve of it at all. If I was having someone work for me, I'd pay them a wage, and that's that. And
I see what you mean. You're not a fan of the woofing and work.
Not at all. Never have been. When I used to work in the backpacker industry many years ago when I was very young, and I used to hear people talking about it then. And I know there are some good people, and lots of people have had good experiences, but I also know there's a lot of people that really take the piss. Do you know what I mean? And I just think,
though, isn't it? That's anyway.
Yeah. But it's serfdom. You know what I mean? I don't feel.
I mean, it sounds like you think we've escaped serfdom. It's just changed, isn't it? How it's done now.
Yeah. I know.
Digital serfdom. You know, our friend Yanis Varoufakis. He's very big on digital serfdom, isn't he? He knows what's going on.
Well, I've spoken about this anyway. Even here, I still see it every morning when I'm out walking the dogs. These people, they get in their little cars and they're like desperately trying. That's a form of
exactly.
Slavery, you know.
Yeah. A better class of slavery, you might say as well.
Yeah.
Right. I just need to flag up that I am talking to Gary Coulton, the Mind Maverick. A little bit later on at 8 o'clock. He's coming to Portugal. We've started doing a podcast together called The Positive Echo, and I'm talking to him at 8. I just wonder what else you've been up to. If we have indeed finished the stereotypes here. You didn't say anything about the rich American, did you?
Not really, but I think it was pretty clear. You know, they another thing they do, just the final thing that I found a lot of the Americans do, is they will talk about Portuguese culture in that kind of patronizing way that I think we could all be guilty of it sometimes. You know, oh, there's such nice people and But I've heard American people talking about, oh, you know, isn't it lovely how they all fly their flags and they keep their culture and they celebrate their culture and they want people to learn, we should all speak Portuguese and all this. And then I wait until they've said enough. And then I say, well, isn't that what MAGA wants?
Oh, and that's another group you're thrown out of.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's that easy.
Yes. Interesting. Yeah. That is a very fascinating line of thought, isn't it? It's like it's.
I thought so. A
better class of patriotism here, isn't it? I suppose a better class of jingoism, maybe, as well. Yeah.
But I want to tell you something. This is a very funny experience I had the other day, and people might. Let's see what people think. Everyone knows that I'm doing open university degree, right?
Yeah.
And at the moment, I don't know why, I chose for the latter part of the second year of this course, I chose to do history of the British Isles.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a tutorial. At the moment, we're sort of focusing on the Industrial Revolution, that kind of period.
Yeah.
And I was in an online tutorial the other day. and there was maybe about I don't know, it's about 10 of us, but there were kind of 5 of us who were being quite active in it. And there was a person called Fatima. I'm not sure where that name comes from, but it doesn't really. What happened
there? I was just looking at incoming communications, and suddenly Shaggy and Mr. Bombastic started playing.
Fatima, her name was.
Fatima,
yeah, and I think it's a girl's name, right?
Yeah. Well, Fatima, the Fatima Whitbread, the famous Olympian.
Yeah, but they whatever they weren't speaking, they were typing, you know. Speaking. Yeah. But anyway, it was quite interesting because we were talking about national identity and what it meant to be British and things like that, and she was being quite insulting, and it didn't bother me, but as it progressed, it got worse. Do you know what I mean? It got worse, and it was quite interesting for me to consider that in the context of maybe making some YouTube videos that haven't been to complete, you know, as nice as they could be. But anyway,
yes.
So just to give you an example, the teacher, who was Scottish, by the way, she was from Edinburgh, the tutor. And she was saying, she asked a question, which was, well, can you give us some things that are like British symbols of British identity? That was it, symbols of British identity. So me and there was another guy, another gammon about my age, and we were like firing. Oh, the Union flag, you know, real ale. Yeah. Real ale, sterling, pound sterling.
You know, feet and inches, pork pies,
blah blah blah. So we were firing them. Yeah. And she was firing back. She was going, tracky pants, othering minorities. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. So it was like this. And in the end, the tutor said, wow, I've literally never, ever had this many responses to this question. And I thought, right here, there's a little, because I thought to myself, because I was trying to think, how should I feel? Should I feel anything about this, what's happening? But then I thought, me and this other guy have probably got, our experience is probably like a long experience of being English. So, you know, we both identify, probably, I didn't ask him, but by his answers, I'm pretty sure he, like me, identifies as being English. I identify, I'm an Englishman. And I speak to you about this last week. I consider myself to be ethnically English. I'm like half Welsh, half English, right? That's who I am.
Yeah.
British is a passport, right?
Okay.
And it was just interesting because I thought to myself, right, like she's being really insulting, but she might not have as much of a link, and she probably has very different experiences to me. And some of those experiences might be real. Some of them might be imagined because she spends too much time looking at Narinda Kaur on Twitter.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you look at some of those Twitter people, England is the most racist place in the whole world, which is why the whole world is on its way there, right? To just experience the racism. But it was interesting, like, you know, toying around with it in my head, but it made me think of a different question. So if I said to you, Carl, will you ever be Portuguese? Will you ever be Portuguese? No, you won't ever will be Portuguese either. So this was a debate that I saw come up in I can't remember what, one of the YouTube shows the other week, and it was it was kind of funny because there was she was I don't know why I'm saying this, but she was a white woman, and she was on a conservative podcast, and she was shouting and saying, Rishi Sunak is as English as you are. You're just being a racist. And then the person pulled up a video of Rishi Sunak going, no, I'll never be English. I'm Indian.
Yeah.
And I thought it just encapsulates the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's
the whole thing of what? The whole thing of people just want
a screechy left-wing white woman on behalf of brown people trying to decide how they should feel about their identity.
Yeah.
People should be able to feel how they want. You know what I mean? So if you feel English, I don't care. That's
what interests me though is why you feel the way you do about her.
Why? But no, because I think these people are dangerous.
Oh, okay. Why?
Well, because I think they're causing problems in the culture.
Right, as in they're sort of by suggesting how people might feel.
Yeah,
People then
I
go
think they're
and feel
causing
that.
division. I think they're causing
Okay, right.
division.
Yeah.
That was, in my opinion, as a teen of the 80s, I feel like a lot of these divisions were being healed.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I'm talking about like gay rights. You know,
Yeah.
I've said this before.
Rocking against racism. Yeah, I get it.
When I was young,
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, the only thing left is IQ. I can remember thinking that to myself. I remember having a real conversation with myself, thinking, we've cracked almost everything here.
Apart from intelligence.
You know, we like you know, our stars are black, our stars are gay, our stars are trans. We don't care. None of us care anymore. We've kind of cracked it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying there wasn't more work to go. We knew that the old people still weren't there yet. But then somewhere in the late 90s or early noughties, this kind of new form of grifter came to this is my feeling, came to re-stick everyone back in their pigeonholes and tell everyone that how oppressed they are.
Yeah.
Because
so
it's
the kind of yin to the yang of that meme where the wealthy person is saying to the working guy, watch out, that immigrant's trying to steal your biscuit. It's the kind, that's the sort of right wing kill the rich kind of version of the meme, isn't it? And then there's a left wing version of that. Is like, that guy actually secretly hates you, watch him.
Yeah, the white guy's trying to keep you down, right?
Yes,
the reason you're not getting forward is because the white man,
yes.
And you know, maybe some white men, but most white men are just as poor as you. You know what I mean? They're just struggling as much as
Lee suspects that nobody cares really, but you clearly do, don't you? About what that person might be doing, have the effect they might.
Well, what I wanted to ask her, and obviously you can't really, especially like in a university tutorial. You just can't go there. You can't go there because
because you'll end up like Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, you can't go there.
You'll be the
but what I wanted to ask her, and I did at the end, I said, you know, thanks very much for being in the conversation. I really enjoyed it, but I would have loved to say to her, where do you get where did you get this view from, or in your opinion, is it appropriate? Like, for example, the question that was asked was, what is England's what about some clothing that's British? And my answer to that is almost all clothing. Almost all clothing was
because of the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah. Almost all clothing worn by all people all over the world is British.
That's right.
But she said, "Oh, tracksuit bottoms,
cargo pants."
Yeah, you know what I mean. So she was like. And what was kind of interesting was, again, you can't read tone. This is the problem. She was typing, so you can't read tone. But in my head, I'm thinking like, I feel like she was expecting everybody else to be in on the joke.
Do you know what I think's needed in this situation?
What?
A cuddle party.
No.
Yeah, seriously, you two need to have a cuddle and get over it.
Me and Freedom.
No. You and the woman that you're.
Fatima, you've forgotten her name.
Yeah. Sorry, was that racist of me?
Yeah, I told you that.
Casual racism. I forgot.
At best. Casual at best.
Oh no, please no. Don't cancel me, Tony. Freedom is late because he had to watch 2 ads first. We're glad to hear that, actually, Freedom. There's something.
Oh, did you?
Even if
make sure. You know, you have to be careful because I heard that you can get a little bit of a suspension if you encourage people to watch ads.
Really?
Do you know that? Yeah. It's got to be natural.
How do you encourage them?
Some people actually make videos saying, "Listen, guys, you ever seen these videos where people are like, I'm just about to get monetized, and listen, can you do me a favor? Can you just watch all of my videos like 20 times? Just watch them all the way through and watch all the ads."
Oh, they deserve,
guys. If you click on the ads.
Yeah.
If you click on the ads, you know. Yeah.
All right. We got a few questions and comments here. Mel, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Australian born with English parents. I consider myself an Aussie. Weird that Rishi would not consider himself English when he was born, raised there of Indian parents. I think there's probably some nuance in that, isn't there? And that connects to the crypto strategist's question as well. As a child of the 70s, going back to the times you mentioned, I think, Tony, our stars were a little odd. Danny LaRue, of course, Dick Henry, Royal. It's an
well, you know, there's the old rose-tinted glasses, you know. Yeah.
What about cargo pants? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't mind a bit of merch. Lee McGrady, I forgive you for being a Manchester. You have got a lovely grammar school up there. Really?
Yeah. No. I was saying, Carl, when you say you're to be Portuguese,
That was for me, I
yeah.
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I meant by Portuguese is like ethnically.
Right. Okay.
Not that. So this is what makes Britain.
I think culturally as well.
What makes Britain confusing is because the nationality, like in Australia, you can be Australian. I don't think you can be. I don't think you can be an Aussie if you. And the other thing about even in Australia is most people in Australia can only trace their ancestry back a few years. Like I suspect if I had one of those DNA tests, I'd probably be thousands of years English.
You suspect? That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah, well, you don't know. Interestingly, because my dad is half Welsh, and it's quite noticeable in my family because I'm the short guy in my family. Most of my family are really tall,
yeah.
and also when I was born, I had blonde hair for the first 4 years.
I was going to say Celtic, but apart from the blonde hair,
yeah. Did you get me? So,
yeah.
So you can definitely see the little bit of difference there. So yeah, what I'm talking about is ethnically, and Australia is very confusing because arguably to be ethnically Australian, you'd have to be Aboriginal.
Yeah.
You know, Aussie is a very recent construct. And when I was growing up in Australia, and I knew quite a few Aboriginal boys, and when they said Aussie, they meant white Australian. They meant that.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? That's what they meant, and they're the original guys from
Fair
Australia.
enough. Just grow a mullet is apparently all you need to do. And crypto strategies. When you say you'll never be Portuguese, do you mean you'll not become a citizen? I may become a ccitizen, but I don't think that will make me in any way deeply Portuguese. That will make me sort of politically and what would the word be? Not culturally. I think the only chance my family, my lineage has of becoming Portuguese is my children's children. I think everyone should. It's not a hard process. Yeah, citizenship is a good tactical, personal, political, economic move. Geopolitical, you might say. My geopolitical status might be Portuguese, but that wouldn't make me a Portuguese person. I don't think.
I think even birth doesn't make you like I saw someone say, you know, if a dog is born in a barn, it doesn't make them a horse. You know what I mean?
Oh, profound. That's the other short of the evening, I think. For more like this, watch the whole show. Yeah. Right. Right. Okay. So have we adequately dealt with the stereotypes there? I think Dutch stable owners.
I didn't offend them at all. I didn't say anything offensive about them.
Are you scared of Dutch people? They're pretty tough.
No, I really like them. I told a really funny anecdote about I mean, this has got nothing to do with being Dutch, I suppose, but he was a funny guy in our class. He was kind of like the you know what I mean, the kind of
great sense of humor. I think
the class jester kind of guy.
Clown.
Well, I've always said the Dutch are like the English, but more direct. We've got a similar sense of humor, but they're more direct. So they can come across a little bit rude. But once if you've lived in that part of the world, you get to know it. And
it's direct, good. Isn't it? Direct. Yeah.
And I always tell the story of my Danish friend. We went out for lunch in Copenhagen, and it was burgers and chips. But he gave us knives and forks, and I said, and I was in a big group of people, mostly work colleagues. I'm sitting there going, "Well, this feels so amazing to me, eating burgers and chips with a knife and fork." And my friend Carsten looked at me and said, No, we think you are little hairy savages because you eat with your hands. Just like that. And he meant it. He meant it. He meant it. Yeah.
His parents would have told him that at a dinner table.
Yeah. But he also told me one day that I can't remember what it was I'd said, but he said, if you don't think that, then you're not a mammal. So these are the kind of things he would say. But anyway, what happened? This Dutch guy, we were doing a lesson on body parts, and he said he tried to pronounce. Do you know what pernish means?
Yeah, legs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But he said it, and when he said it, it sounded like, because of his Dutch accent, it sounded like penis.
Yeah.
And that led to
which could get you into some trouble, couldn't it? I suppose.
Well, it has in the past, yeah. I have to admit. Still,
is that connected? Is that
still
connected?
recovering from some of that trouble to this day?
So does that mean you're on the transplant list? Is that what Freedom's talking about? I don't know what sort of transplant.
Yeah.
Look, a friend of mine married a guy named Harry Savage.
The thing about it is that the teacher then thought that he'd said penis, and then went into like a 10-minute detailed explanation of said, no, we're all adults here. These are the.
But it's not what I said. No, you're gonna have to hear this anyway.
Yeah. So we're all kind of like snickering away like it was a junior high sex ed lesson. So
right, I need to go talk to Gary Coulton. I just want to find out if anything interesting happened to you this week. Even more interesting than all the things we've previously talked about in the last 50 minutes or so, Tony.
I haven't, but I could just leave you with a couple of words of wisdom, if I may.
I don't know if I can take any more, but yes, let's try. Let's see what happens. One more wafer-thin piece of wisdom from you.
Wafer-thin. Well, it's just that when life gives you melons, you may be dyslexic.
Munson and the Geeza. Munson and the Geeza. Reporting from the scene, Munson and the Geeza. News in every ride.